New York is putting Trump into an impossible situation to squeeze him dry. Is this the American way? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. All right, folks, it's time for this month's Trump update, or Trump date, if you will. Former president and current presidential candidate Donald Trump is in a serious bind after New York Supreme Court Judge Arthur Engoron ordered him to pay $454 million in fines and interest in a New York business fraud case. It's a very precarious situation. Way more precarious than this ramp everyone made a big deal about a few years ago. I'm half his age, and the lack of guardrails gives me anxiety. You see, Trump now has two choices. He can either cough up the $454 million and go about his rather extensive business minus $454 million, or he can appeal. But in order to appeal, he has to post an appeal bond to the court. The appeal bond is sort of an insurance that the fine will be paid even if the appeal doesn't go his way, and he goes bankrupt from legal fees since an appeal can take years. The bond is required by federal law. There's just one problem. Trump has failed to secure a bond for the $454 million judgment in his civil fraud case, and risks asset seizures from New York Attorney General Letitia James. Attorney General Letitia James is a Democrat who campaigned on the promise of investigating Trump's businesses and finances, without specifying what crime Trump did, mind you. As reported by the New York Times, it was James who took Trump, his company, and his adult sons to trial last fall, accusing them of fraudulently inflating the value of his golf clubs, office buildings, and other properties to the tune of about $2 billion. As we know, Judge Engoron ruled in James's favor. And get this, Engoron ordered that Trump post cash or a bond within just 30 days starting from the day of his order on February 23rd. The 30 days ends on March 25th. That's just a few days from now. In other words, Trump has been ordered to cough up $500 million within a month, or else. Only it's worse because in Trump's case, the interest, which is already almost $100 million, will continue to accrue at an annual rate of 9%. That's a rate of nearly $112,000 a day. As rich as Trump is, he doesn't carry that kind of cash around. It takes time to get that much at hand, unless you're a dragon that hoards all your wealth in a cave, or a duck that keeps it in a comically large vault. Trump, of course, is trying to appeal the ruling, but in order to do that, he's going to need a lot more than $454 million. New York law requires defendants in civil cases to post a bond worth at least 110% of the judgment. He has to pay more than what he's been ordered to pay just to appeal what he's being ordered to pay. That makes no sense. That'd be like if you were convicted of murder and in order to appeal it, they execute you twice. In Trump's case, Trump's lawyers say bond issuers will demand collateral totaling 120% of the judgment, or $557 million, not including a premium in the range of 2% per year, and the first 2 years paid up front. The problem is, according to the New York Times, Trump has just over $350 million in cash, as well as stocks and bonds, far short of the $557 million he would need to post in collateral. And the bond companies are refusing to accept real estate as collateral. According to a recent legal filing from the Trump camp, no one would accept hard assets such as real estate as collateral. Instead, they only accept cash or cash equivalents like securities. Okay, but would they accept Trump's stakes? What that means is that Trump could even be forced to hold a fire sale of his assets if he's going to keep fighting the lawsuit against him. He's going to have to sell everything, well, except for Trump's stakes. He couldn't give those things away. Now keep in mind that Trump has a lot of other things to worry about. In addition to this, he has an appeals bond worth over $91 million for E. Jean Carroll's defamation case, as well as a $5 million payment in a separate lawsuit Carroll brought against him. I know we're all sick of Trump is orange jokes that got stale 9 years ago, but it's never been more literal since they're squeezing him dry. So Trump is in big trouble financially. But is this situation unprecedented? I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. Trump has been ordered to pay a $454 million fine and needs roughly $557 million in cash or securities as collateral for an appeal bond if he wants to appeal. Bonds the size of Trump's are definitely unusual, especially for a private individual. It's the type of money that you'd expect from large public companies, not individuals or even privately owned companies like the Trump Organization. That's according to Gary Gilletti, an executive at Lockton Companies, an insurance brokerage hired by Trump to help him get a bond. Getting a bond for something this large, especially for someone as controversial as Trump, has proven to be a huge headache. Trump's lawyers said that Trump would have to have cash reserves approaching $1 billion, something that neither Trump nor his Trump Organization has. Let me repeat, $1 billion with a B, for boy, that's a ludicrous amount of moolah. Not even Trump's GoFundMe is enough to put a dent in it. The sheer size of Trump's penalty is also hurting Trump's ability to get help from sureties, companies that provide appeal bonds. Trump's team asked about 30 companies through 4 separate brokers, all said no. According to Gilletti, many sureties only issue a single bond up to $100 million. It's no surprise then that Trump's lawyers say that despite diligent efforts, securing a full bond is a practical impossibility. That's why Trump's lawyers have urged a state appeals court to delay the judgment and ask that Trump instead be allowed to post a $100 million bond while he appeals the judgment. A mere $100 million bond. Trump can totally handle that. However, if the panel does not approve that request, Attorney General Letitia James could begin a process to seize Trump's properties on March 25th. That process will take time, but still, you don't have to like or sympathize with him to think this entire situation Trump's facing has big our property energy. Is Trump Tower going to become the civil case citadel? And some people you might be surprised about are defending Trump. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. As you can probably tell from Trump's penalty by now, New York Attorney Letitia James and New York Judge Arthur Engoron really want to screw Trump over. James is definitely giving off Anthony Adams vibes with Trump's legal and financial woes. Like seriously, who goes around demanding $500 million within 30 days under the threat of seizing assets? Like I said earlier, James campaigned on going after Trump without even specifying his crime. She pretty much assumed he was guilty of something and then went searching for something to accuse him of. And when she found it, Judge Engoron validated her. If that's how all judges acted, then instead of being blind and holding a scale, Lady Justice would be winking and flipping the bird. And here's the thing, there were no clear victims, and there's no evidence that Trump profited from deception. One of Trump's lenders, Deutsche Bank, valued Trump's net worth $2 billion less than Trump did, but still gave him a loan anyway. Internal documents showed that banks approved the loans because they expected the loans to generate a profit based on Trump's history and other criteria. Had any bank that loaned to Trump felt they were being cheated, they could have sued, but they haven't. Deutsche Bank executive David Williams, who worked on at least one of the 3 loans Deutsche Bank made to Trump, testified that the bank adhered to its own guidelines for Trump and that the loans to him weren't unusual. Judge Engoron, who is also a Democrat, admitted that defendants correctly assert that the record is devoid of any evidence of default, breach, late payment, or any complaint of harm. No harm, no foul, right? Nope, Engoron says that, legally speaking, this is completely irrelevant. He said New York's Attorney General need only prove that the statements were false and misleading and that the defendants repeatedly or persistently used those to transact business. But this is how the banking system works. Someone makes an estimate of their wealth. The banks verify it and decide if it's in their interest to make the loan. This is what everyone does. But they're only going after Trump and not all the other businessmen who do the exact same thing. At what point do estimates become lying? Was Engoron estimating or lying when he valued Trump's Mar-a-Lago at $18 million instead of the $300 million most real estate insiders said it was worth? People are definitely getting the impression that New York is rigging the legal system against Trump with a penalty that the Wall Street Journal describes as unreal and political overkill. An American court system should be free of political bias and based on facts. It should also have apple pie and hot dogs. It doesn't get more American than that. So it's understandable why many people, even those who aren't big fans of Trump, see James's lawsuit as a politically motivated attack not just against Trump, but against America itself.
This is an attack on America. And I don't know how you can look at it any other way. Forfeiture, seizing of assets, is that in our nomenclature in America? Is that what we tell people that want to bring their money here and protect property rights? A horrible message to everybody around the world watching this. Absolutely horrific.
Trump, of course, is especially incensed. Unsurprisingly, he ranted on Truth Social, calling James a racist and politically corrupt attorney general and Engoron a crazed, Trump-hating rogue judge. If only Trump got paid per word for his rants, he'd make Scrooge McDuck and Smog look like Charlie Bucket. It's a good thing Willy Wonka didn't live in New York and piss off James, otherwise she might have seized his chocolate factory. Major investors aren't having it with this decision. Neither are firefighters. James definitely got the memo from them.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
Let me remind you that the more James, or any Trump critic for that matter, keeps trying to squash Trump, the more they're making Trump into a martyr or a Jedi. Strike him down and he'll just become more powerful. It's definitely going to feed into the narrative that James and other Trump haters are getting involved in that word YouTube doesn't allow me to say. Really? This all feels like a slippery slope. An even slippier slope than this ramp. Of course, YouTube is part of this whole system, which is why it's throttling America Uncovered so hard that the only way we can afford to keep making this show is with your support on patreon.com/America Uncovered. All it takes is $1 an episode. I make about 12 episodes a month, and if that's too much for you, you can set a monthly limit to give as little as $1 a month. And the best part is we upload directly to Patreon, so you'll always be notified of a new episode, and it will never be taken down. Hit that orange button to head over to Patreon, and I'm also trying to get around YouTube censorship by hiding controversial topics in gaming content on my new show, Deep Thoughts While Gaming. Check out the latest about Arizona Sunshine 2, a zombie VR shooter with a very particular sense of humor. Check it out and let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.